Welcome back to the Wisdom Workshop. My name's Sean Waters, and this is the Wisdom Workshop Library, where I share the most powerful ideas from the best books I've found on how to live a good life. All right, the book today I've been spending the last 3 months on, and you'll see why. It's a beast. It is The Theory and Practice of Group Psychotherapy by Irvin, Yalom, and Molyn, Leszcz. This is the textbook for group psychotherapy that one of my friends, Paul Marcus, recommended to get a sense of how the process of group dynamics and group psychotherapy works. Now, big disclaimer here, I am not a psychotherapist, and this video is not targeted to psychotherapists, but that's exactly why I wanted to share this. I think this book is incredibly valuable for us to think about how we interact with other human beings, and what we're going to explore today are the 11 therapeutic factors, especially the ones that apply to non-therapeutic settings. It goes without saying, this is not meant to be a substitute for therapy or for professional advice from a mental health professional. This is a study in how this works for non-therapists and non-professionals in hopes that it will be valuable. And since we all care about well-being, some of these applied to our own life are really interesting. So Yalom and Leszcz go over 11 therapeutic factors that they identify as the conditions for well-being to take place, a transformation to take place. We're going to go over 10 of them that seem relevant, particularly beyond the therapeutic setting. And the first one is the installation of hope. So in this sense, in order for something to work, in order for us to feel like we're moving in a forward direction, we need to have a sense of hope that where we're going could actually be better than where it is. This connects to trust in the exploration phase of emergent learning, connects to the ability of ourselves to feel and know that there is a better thing coming. It will get better. Number 2 is universality. This is the sense that we all share common experiences, that there's not necessarily super sane and super nut jobs, but we're all on a spectrum of having a similar kind of process. The group therapist or the teacher, good teacher in the sense, is not better than their students. They're just in a different position based on the life circumstances that have been different. So appreciating that what we are hung up on is not just us, that a lot of other people are going through the same thing, that we share certain common human elements between us, that we are in this together, we're all in the same human boat, is really therapeutic. Number 3, this one's perhaps the most interesting for me as a teacher, is imparting information. So this is the ability that we have to impart information that helps the people we're working with understand the process better. So in the context of group psychotherapy, you're imparting information to the group members about how the process works, why we stay focused in the here and now, why we want to be honest and authentic, why we want to self-disclose, and why we want to do that when it feels good to us, how we can support each other. But this can go beyond just the group therapy environment, it seems like to me. Anytime we're giving information that's helpful for people to be able to use and work better, that can be itself one of the factors for this to work. The 4th therapeutic factor is altruism, and this is our ability to do good things for other people. I've seen this over and over again in wisdom workshops and in the classroom. When people are able to feel like they can help other people by offering some perspective or doing just some kind gesture, that move of altruism is therapeutic and is therefore a powerful therapeutic factor. Number 5 is the development of socialization techniques. Now, this is more important in certain settings than others, but the real key idea here is that a big part of our dis-ease with ourselves is played out or is a part of our difficulties in relating to other people. So the more that we practice these interpersonal skills, in young people we call these social emotional learning, or our ability to learn about social situations, our emotional intelligence and how we relate to people, practicing that socialization and those social skills is therapeutic. It helps us feel less alone, helps us approach well-being. Number 6 is imitative behavior. Now, this is really interesting from a philosophical standpoint, particularly because Aristotle says if we want to be good people, we need to find exemplars, moral exemplars that we want to be like. So people say, what would Jesus do? Not as an abstract idea, but as an exercise so that we can emulate or imitate the behavior of someone that we admire. It doesn't need to be Jesus. It could be Yoda or Gandalf or a teacher or person that we appreciate, that we want to be more like. Number 7 is interpersonal learning. So beyond just socialization techniques, when we are able to learn with another person and learn from another person, that interpersonal learning is incredibly therapeutic. Now, they dedicate a whole chapter to this one. So far, they just have little paragraphs on the other ones, but they expand this one into a whole chapter because this is huge. Why is it huge? Other people are like a mirror to ourselves that illuminate our processes of how we're relating in the here and now. So it's not just that I'm learning from other people, it's that by engagement with other people in an honest and authentic here and now way, I have an opportunity to learn about myself, whether or not I'm super aloof and haughty and better than other people, or whether I'm kind of pretending to be worse than other people as one of the narratives or scripts or potentially neuroses that we have in relating. So by putting people in an environment, having them relate honestly with one another, we can learn not just about other people and from and with other people, but we can learn about ourselves by how we're reacting and relating to them. That kind of insight where we get to see who we are in the presence of other people that are listening to us well is a huge thing we could expand on, but for our purposes in this video, number 7 is interpersonal learning. Number 8 is group cohesiveness. They also develop a whole chapter to this because there's a lot of things, a lot of factors that play a part to how much a group feels like cohesive, how it feels like a unit. If some people are prized and other people's are devalued, or some people are given a certain amount of privilege in the space and others are not given that same privilege, that lack of cohesion where it's no longer us but a bunch of separate people, that prevents therapeutic exchanges and real interpersonal learning to happen. Number 9 is a sense of catharsis. Now, this was in the ancient Greek theory of Aristotle's theory of art. A key aspect of the artistic experience is when we have an emotional release. So when we experience profound emotions, that sense of catharsis, where we're able to experience and let go, is a powerful experience, so much so that it sticks with us. And number 10, the last of the 11 we're going to go over, are existential factors. So when I am making a choice about what kind of person I want to be in the face of my definite death, that are the existential factors that are intensely therapeutic. Okay, so those are the 10 therapeutic factors. What's so interesting for us as teachers or as practitioners or just as people that want to live a better life and have more well-being is that all of these factors interplay and interrelate, and some people identify some factors as more important than others. So for some, being a part of a cohesive group is going to be the most important therapeutic factor. For others, getting good information about how a process works is going to be the most important therapeutic factor. For others, having a real sense of hope, an instilled hope that we're getting somewhere, might be the most important therapeutic factor. For others, having a sense of altruism might be the most important therapeutic factor, or a combination of those might be super therapeutic. So it's not to say this isn't a sequential list. This is a set of interrelated conditions that are going to differ based on our circumstances and where we are in our lives. So if you want to take this thinking further, you want to outline, identify which of these therapeutic factors seem the most therapeutic in your situations and how you might set up the conditions for those therapeutic factors to thrive. And the hope is, if these therapeutic factors are in place, we can have insight and realization into our existing patterns, how those existing patterns might not be ideal, and how we might tweak or change or alter those existing patterns to get more health in our interpersonal, how we talk to ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, and our interpersonal, how we talk to other people. And the whole rest of the book is about how a facilitator or a group leader, what kinds of things they do in order to ensure that these therapeutic factors maintain effectiveness in a group. All right, thanks Irvin Yalom for the theory and practice of group psychotherapy. This book is huge and super intimidating. I did not expect that I would be still reading this book 3.5 months later. I thought I was just gonna pick this up and refer to it like as a textbook. But this is so well written and so engaging that it's become one of my favorite bedtime reads because of how they illustrate these ideas with little vignettes, little stories from their practice. And Yalom is just a fantastic writer. This is a really accessible book. So I'd highly recommend it. But if you don't want to read it because it is 780 pages with like 200 pages of footnotes and references, incredibly well researched. I hope this big idea of the 11 therapeutic factors was helpful in thinking about how you might set up the conditions in your own groups or in your own life to move towards more well-being and live a good life. All right, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. If you're interested in what we're doing off of this platform, we have a series of cohort-based groups that meet to explore the different dimensions of living the good life. Our next writing cohort, which is using writing as a tool to live well, starts early next year. More information in the comments down below. Thank you all so very much. I hope this assists in our mutual well-being. Much love, everybody.